A lot of people come out of treatment centers in a pink bubble thinking everything's fine now, everything's great. I tell them enjoy that because the bubble is definitely going to bust and I'm going to be here when it does, because you can't take that next leap into integrating into society without having a period of time where you can get your feet on the ground. If you're coming from an inpatient treatment center, you might not feel like it's enough. And quite honestly, I don't know how 30, 60, or even 90 days is enough.
We treat the individual. It's not a one-size-fits-all. We're able to take a look at each person and see their background, what they've been through. It's almost like the sun comes out when they get to next step, where it has been dark, cloudy before. So when you get to next step, it feels like now the sun is out and we can try this living thing.
Everything the Next Step does is person-centered. They're not going to do the same thing for me that they do for somebody else, and while in some ways that might seem unfair at the time, like there's a reason behind it.
My life was changing before me and a lot of uncertainty. I remember showing up at the house and there were like 15 people running around and I was like, what is going on? How is this gonna help me?
I've been trying this for a long time. Long term, I've done one 2 years, 18 months. And they were more confrontation, and it helped. I've come up to next step, and it was more carefrontation. You've got accountability, but it's a loving type, which you kind of need when you're first getting clean or trying to get in recovery, because you're down on yourself. You got a lot of shame and guilt. You don't need people bringing it back up. You need people helping you get through it.
We do it, and we do it right, and we do it well. And that's because, Susan has taken the time to implement everything that is fully supportive of these men. It's the perfect balance of accountability and independence. It's not about necessarily holding their hand as much as it is about standing alongside them and supporting them through the process and showing them how others have done it and what works for them with the perfect amount of accountability.
This was not my first attempt at recovery, and I think part of it was that I was in a different place when I came to Next Step, but a large part of it was Next Step was willing to meet me where I was and help me get to where I needed to go.
Lights went on for me when I was inpatient because I was involved in it and I was ready. I didn't know how that was gonna transpire. And that's what I learned at Next Step Recovery, is that you learn to utilize the tools that you learn about in inpatient treatment, and you're able to employ them daily.
I was here for about a year and slowly transitioned into working here for the last 2 years. This place has definitely, helped to save my life.
When I got to Next Step, I was 3 months clean after coming out of a treatment center. I had some tools, but I was still very frightened of being clean, being off drugs, because I didn't think I could have a life without drugs. The staff immediately was able to introduce me to a group of guys that was able to basically become my family. In a way, they were always there, and whenever I was afraid to talk at a meeting, I talked to them instead. And over time, my shell fell off and I started being myself, which had been buried for 7 years at that point. Next Step has always given me the tools. When I was not sure, I asked them, how should I handle this situation, whether it was my roommates, my staff at the time, and this place has always given me the tools that I still use to this day.
They're very good communicators. We will talk to them, and they teach us our boundaries. They teach us to be responsible. They teach us how we can make our kids responsible given the addiction they have. We don't understand addiction. It is very difficult to understand it. It's very difficult to explain their actions, and I think Next Step helps us to understand why they do what they do.
It's the first time we've had an adult interaction with our adult son. And it's just been so heartwarming and good. I try hard not to let myself feel hopeful because I felt hopeful too many times, but I'm beginning to feel hopeful.
A lot of recovered guys and gals work here, and that to me has been really crucial to William's success here. He can relate to those people, they can talk with each other, and I think what they have to say about William in this context is much more important than he could find out from us or anybody else at home.
I invite a lot of other professionals to come and see me. Come and see us. Just don't take my word for it. Don't just read my website and go, oh, this sounds good. But actually come and see us, come and meet us, and we can talk in detail about how and what our program is and why it is the way that it is, why I've created it this way.